Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler with your host Wally. And today we are going to talk about the Texas Independence Trail and look at some of the highlights. I know you've seen a lot of my videos of different places, but we're going to look at the different parks that we have. We just saw McKinney Falls and Lockhart, close to Austin. Beautiful parks to go look at. The world's biggest boots in San Antonio. And along this trail, we'll see a lot of the important events that happened during the Texas Independence campaign. We'll also see a lot of its museums, such as the Whitty Museum, which contains dinosaurs and other sorts of treasures. We have the McNay Museum, which mostly focuses on impressionistic art. It's a great place to go visit to look at some impressionistic and some modern art. The San Antonio Museum of Art showcases art from different eras, such as Greek, Roman, Egyptian, and art around the world. Once we get to Breckenridge Park, we can go visit the San Antonio Botanical Gardens and the tea gardens, which are awesome little tea gardens where you can walk around the trails and see some of the koi fish. There's the San Antonio Zoo with its wonderful hippos. I like it when one bites the other one's butt. And of course, a little toy train. I love trains. Breckenridge Park is one of the oldest parks in Texas, so go and walk around, take some hikes. There's Market Square where you can do a lot of shopping, looking for Mexican goods. The Spanish Governor's Palace, which used to control the northern part of Texas. And Casa Navarro State Historic Site, which celebrates one of the main signers of the Constitution. The San Fernando Cathedral, and the San Antonio Missions. San Antonio Missions were built in the 1700s, and they still stand today. It's probably one of my favorite things to do in San Antonio is just to go from mission to mission and just enjoy the history and all that comes with it. It's one of my favorite places to go. And of course, we have the Alamo, one of my favorite places in Texas because it's tacky. I love it. And then there's the Riverwalk, of course. It's known all over the world. Let's go and just cruise on some boats sometime. It'll be fun. And that's not the only thing to do at the Riverwalk. There's plenty of attractions, such as the Museum of Western Art, where you see a lot of cowboys and Indians and cows. A lot of cows. The Wax Museum, where you can pose with your favorite celebrities. The Ripley's Museum, which has a whole bunch of oddities and cool little knickknacks. The Guinness World Record Museum, which lets you break one of them if you have the guts. And the San Antonio Tower, which takes you up where you can see all of San Antonio. Once you leave San Antonio, you can start off with the Big Peanut. Peanuts used to be an important crop. There's a Longhorn Museum. I love all these tiny little museums that we're going to see along the trail. There's Panda Maria, which is a home of Polish migration into the United States with Father Maxaneba. I always get his name wrong. But it's a cool place for history and churches and stuff. Continue going and we reach Goliad, where there's a lot to do. We have the Goliad Massacre Cenotaph, which celebrates the heroes of Goliad, the Angel of Goliad, who saved some of the prisoners from the massacre, which is one of my favorite historical figures in Texas, and I'm fat and can't get off of the pedestal. Serves me right for being like this. In the same place, we have Presidio de la Bahia, which is one of my favorite places in Texas. It's a fort, Spanish fort, that has served Texas in different wars. It's definitely worth stopping there. And just across the street, we have Mission Espirito Santo, which is at Goliad State Park. And in the same area, we have the Saragosa Birthplace. It's a state historic site. You see where General Saragosa of the popular Cinco de Mayo celebrations was born. And you can go there and appreciate margaritas and salsas. Just beyond that, we have the Fannin Battleground State Historic Site, which is where the Battle of Coleto Creek occurred. And then more tiny little museums, such as the Chisholm Trail Heritage Museum, which tells you all about cowboys. You love cowboys? Come here. We start heading into Austin country, where we see the Stephen Austin head. And we go to San Felipe de Austin, which is where Stephen F. Austin started his colony. But he burnt it all during the runaway scrape. But nearby we have a state park, which is a cool little hiking place. And now we start reaching the coastal bend with Victoria, where we see some of the history of French exploration, such as cannons that were on the La Belle ship that sank. You see the huge Stephen Austin statue in Angleton, Texas. He's known as the father of Texas, so it's kind of cool to see him. We'll see the Varner Hog Plantation State Historic Site. That's my cat wanting attention. We get to go to the Brazos Bend State Park for alligators, which every time I go are always missing. I don't think they like me very much. The George Observatory, where you can see the planets and some nebula. Then we start moving closer to the Gulf, where we see the other La Salle Monument, which was placed there to celebrate his landing in Texas and all that it brought, which was mostly failure. We're on to Galveston and the Galveston Beach and the seawall, which gets a lot of flack, but it's actually a nice, relaxing beach that you should go and visit. It's got Pleasure Pier, which is your typical pier with all the things that come with boardwalk life, such as restaurants, games, attractions, knickknacks, and such. While you're in Galveston, make sure to hit the Moody Gardens Aquarium and Rainforest so you can learn more about aquatic animals and tropical birds and tropical plants. It's a fun place for the whole family. Of course, we have the Galveston Mansions, the Moody Mansion, the old Ashton Villa, which you can't go inside because it's unless you're going to get married. It's more of a wedding venue now. And the Bishop's Palace, which was my favorite. It's really ornate inside, like the rich had a good life. Or the Tall Ship Elisa, which is a Texas state ship. I like to pretend I'm driving it. The Ocean Star Museum, which teaches you all you ever needed to know about ocean rigs. Then you can also take the Bolivar Ferry to head over to Fort Travis Park, which is an old battery park. Used to protect Galveston Bay from invaders. And now we're at Seawolf Park, which is a naval park that houses a destroyer escort and a submarine, which you can go inside of. Then once you're back in Galveston, you can go see the old city cemetery and take some hiking through the Galveston Island State Park and see some of its grasses and marshlands and wetlands. Now we're finally in Houston, one of my favorite cities in Texas. There's a Mount Rushmore monument. People are weird. Of course, you have to go and visit Johnson Space Center, where you can go and see rockets and space things and touch a moon rock. I was completely amazed by the size of this rocket. Close by is the Kima Boardwalk with rides and everything you'd expect from a boardwalk once again. Now we can move on to some of the museums. We have the Museum of Natural Science, which is probably one of my favorite museums in Texas. Especially if you like dinosaurs and paleontology, this is the place to go. Every time I'm in Houston, I always love going to the temples. I love going to various Buddhist temples, Hindu temples, Taoist temples. They're nice and relaxing areas for me where I get to contemplate life and how good it is. Back to art. Here's the Museum of Fine Arts. It's got plenty of art from the old and ancient to the modern. The Rothko Chapel, where you can go and meditate and think about your life and where it's taking you. The Mano Collection, which has a lot of surrealist art. And of course, now we reach the Downtown Aquarium in Houston and the Houston Zoo. Both of them excellent attractions. Now we're back with some history at the San Jacinto Monument, where Texas won its independence from Mexico in a 17-minute fight. And some more state parks, such as Sheldon Lake State Park, where you can walk amongst the lilies. I wish I could swim in there, but you can't, because there's alligators, supposedly. And Washington on the Brazos, where Texas was born. That's where they signed the Declaration of Independence and Constitution and everything. Right next to it is Barrington Plantation, which is the former home of Anson Jones, a president of Texas. And now we start going into small towns, such as the place Brenham, where we have Bluebell Creameries, where they make Bluebell ice cream. It's delicious. Go and have yourself a scoop. And the world's smallest church, which people on TikTok fought me for. It was funny. And the China Block Brewery, where they make the delicious China Block. Supposedly, I don't know, I don't drink. But it's cool. It's a cool educational place to go and learn about beer. And we have Newman's Castle, where some guy built himself a castle to live in. I envy him. We have Bastrop State Park, where we pretty much have some lost pines, which are in the middle of nowhere, where they shouldn't be. It burned down, but it's coming back. Palmetto State Park, which is the home of the palmetto. They don't grow bigger than that. It's kind of a surreal place. Well, the Monument Hill State Park, where we had the bean incident. And it's also home to the Krish Brewery ruins, where they used to make beer. Then we have the Gonzalez Memorial Museum, which was built to house a Camanteca cannon that started the whole Texas Revolution. The Gonzalez Prison Museum, which used to house some notorious inmates. You can take a tour of the cells. And we have the monuments to the first shot fired in Texas. There's two of them, so I'm not sure which is the real one. But two is better than none.
Pecan.
Well, the world's largest pecan in Seguin.
It's huge.
It's the first world's largest pecan, because now there's more. And the Sebastopol House State Historic Site, which is made some from lime cream. Anyways, thanks for visiting Texas. Make sure to visit some of the sites on the Texas Independence Trail. I hope you like. And don't forget to like and subscribe.